Good morning to all present. I am Shubham Agarwal, and yet again we are back with the current affairs series. We'll be giving you the daily current affairs, the burning topics which you can expect in the UPSC prelims as well as the UPSC mains. And thank you for the feedback for the yesterday's session. We've been, motivated by the students to not discontinue anything. We'll be giving you all these supplementary things in continuity due to the popular demand, obviously, because Janta is the main Janardhan, Janta is the main Malik. Whatever the people, whatever the students demand, we'll have to fulfill those demands. So today, as you were told yesterday, I will be discussing two main important issues. The first issue being the Israel and Palestinian issue, which has been in news. Now you see, guys, this is not Israel civil services, or this is not Palestinian civil services, or this is not Middle East or West Asian civil services. What we are preparing for is the Indian civil services. This is where I have felt that the other people have missed the trick. The other institutions have missed the trick. They are only focusing on the history of Israel Arab. They are telling you who is a Jew, who is a Palestine, who is a Shia, who is a Sunni. But do you think that those questions would be asked? I don't think so. Because this is Indian administrative services, this is Indian civil services, I'm sorry. Since this is an exam in India, we are more concerned, we should be more concerned with what is India's stand on both Israel as well as Palestine. इंडिया किसके साथ खड़ा है? क्या इंडिया इजराइल के साथ खड़ा है या इंडिया पैलेस्टीन के साथ खड़ा है? We will have to take that. So the first topic for today's discussion is Israel, obviously, and their relations with. So Israel, see, I'll draw a rough sketch of the country of Israel. मैं इजराइल का एक रफ स्केच बना देता हूं. Let us say this is the Israel of 1900s, or Israel was actually created in 1948. This is the Israel post 1940. Let us say this is the Israel in the present context. Obviously, this region falls in Middle East. There are three main pillars. First pillar being the Israel, that is a Jewish community. Then Israel के इधर अगर आप world map लेकर बैठे, I would suggest that every child, whoever is preparing for UPSC, should have a world map in front of him on his study table, because many of the questions from IR and world geography mapping, you will be doing it from the world political map. वो आपको एक दिन अगर पढ़ने बैठेंगे तो नहीं होगा. With practice, with continuity, you will be able to solve those questions. Israel. So Israel has many boundaries. Jordan. This is Syria. This is Sinai Peninsula. So this is Egypt. UPSC expects you to show in pictorial form. अगर आपके आंसर्स में बहुत सारे डायग्राम्स होते हैं, then your answer, you have an edge of half to 1 mark in your answer, in your particular answer. So Egypt, here is your Mediterranean Sea. बिल्कुल इजराइल के ऊपर we have another grouping called another country called the Lebanon. So Jordan, Syria, Egypt, there is a water body, Mediterranean Sea, and then Lebanon. This is the basic framework of present day Israel. Obviously, the geography has not changed. but the demography has changed. Coming further, you will find a country called Iraq, then you will find a country called Iran, then you will find a country called Pakistan, and then you will find the most beautiful country of this world, that is Mera Bharat Mahan. So this is somewhat a rough sketch of India. यहाँ पर India है. This is the second important pillar in Middle East, that is your Shia. Shia Arabs, that is the Shia Muslim country, that is Iran. बिल्कुल नीचे there is a Persian Gulf. Here lies the third important pillar of Saudi Arabia. Iran is Shia Muslim. These are Sunni Muslims. We are not going into the controversy of Shias are better or Sunnis are better, whatever has been taught on the internet. They're all marketing gimmicks. They just want to waste your time. ऐसा नहीं करना है हमें. We just need to focus on the crux of the matter, that how is my country India dealing with the three powerhouses of the Middle East. ये जो तीन power centers हैं, ये जो तीन pillars हैं, इनमें where does India figure in? Where does India come in? You know what happened? I'll give you a brief history of Israel-Palestine relations. You will study it more in the world history. So Jews were being persecuted all over the world. We know that. In the interwar period also they had their atrocities. उससे पहले भी they did not have any place, any country to live. So there was no nationality because Jews, they were spread all over the world. During the First World War, obviously even before that, as a result of colonialization of the world by Britain and European allies like France and Germany and all that, Britain के अंदर थी Palestinian territories or the Ottoman Empire or the Turkish Empire. But we all know that the Turkish Empire was dismembered after the World War I. During that period, British and French went into a secret agreement called the Sykes-Picot Agreement. They dismembered, उन्होंने टुकड़े-टुकड़े कर दिए टर्की के. And this is how these Arabic states were formed out of Turkey. Jordan, Syria. Sorry, I went wrong here. This is Syria. And this is Jordan. I beg your pardon. आप अपने notes में correct कर लीजिए. Syria and Jordan. Iran, Iraq, all these states were dismembered. They were the part of the larger Ottoman Empire. And Pakistan से शुरू होता था Indian subcontinent, which was yet another big Mughal empire. Coming back to the Israel-Palestinian. So in the 1900s, in the early 1900s, when the country called Israel was not yet established, 1948 से पहले, the majority of these people living in these areas were who? They were not Jews. They were the Palestinian Arabs. 99% of the territories belonged to them. As soon as Balfour, who was a journal, a bureaucrat there, he promised the Jews कि हम आपको एक आपका separate homeland देंगे. We will give you a separate territory. We will give you an independent territory. We will create the Israel nationality. In 1948, finally, because you see, UNO recognized Israel, but UN was also dominated by who? UN was also dominated by the West, let us say Britishers or the Americans or whatsoever. In order to have an ally in the Middle Eastern countries, and why Middle Eastern countries? What was the one main rich source in the Middle Eastern countries that attracted almost all the world powers? That was oil. To have a Western ally, to have a Western puppet, to have a Western friend in this Middle Eastern political scenario, what was done was a territory, a separate homeland of the Jews was created by the West. धीरे धीरे what happened is, talking about Jews, they were Western people. They came from Europe. Their descent was, or their intermingling was with the European powers. They knew what is rule of law. They knew the art of administration. They knew the polity of real politic. They knew how to establish a separate homeland. उनको politics, economics, culture इन सब की बहुत ज़्यादा knowledge थी. They were much more advanced than their counterparts where they came to live. They were much more advanced than the Arabs. Arabs were the Asian tribes, but Americans or Europeans were the westernized, जहां पर rule of law और जहां पर revolutions बहुत पहले हो चुके थे. The French Revolution, the sovereignty, the independence, the liberty, the equality, all these values the Jews were well versed with. यहाँ पर 1948 में finally जब ये create हुआ, the majority of these territories had started belonging to the Jewish empire. Jews started making inroads into these territories. The present day scenario is that 99% of the territories are Jewish or under Jewish control, and only few of the territories are under the Palestinian or the Arabic control. This is the first logic. You would say, sir, what is the Gaza Strip? What is the West Bank and what is the Golan Heights? As soon as in 1948, the territory was created, the Israel territory was created, the Arab world thought that it is a bluff with them, it is a fraud with them. उनकी territory दूसरे country को कैसे दे दिया? Hence, 1948 was the first Arab-Israel war. Obviously, Israel won this. Israel had an upper hand. See, in wars, usually there is no winner or loser. There is only who has felt lower casualties and who has felt more casualties. No one is a winner in a war. यही चीज यहाँ पर हुई. The second war, again it started. It is called the Six-Day War, 1967-68. यहाँ पर क्या हुआ? यहाँ पर what Israel did was, obviously it was backed by the West. I already told you. So it got weapons from the Americas, the UKs and the Western powers. Egypt से इन्होंने एक बहुत important territory हथिया लिया. That is the Sinai Peninsula. It returned it later and it only kept a small territory called the present day Gaza Strip. This is how it got the Gaza Strip. The second important thing, if you talk about, so we all know how the Gaza Strip came. I'll tell you what are the constituents of Gaza Strip as well. Now, the third most religious city of the Muslims and a holy place for the Christians as well as the Jews. So it is a cradle of three important religious civilizations. Jerusalem. Jerusalem was actually a part of Jordan, the East Jerusalem part. तो इन्होंने Jordan से annex किया जो territory, like your rajma, like your kidney bean. This territory comes in the form of West Jerusalem, which has been recognized by US as the part of the Israelis or the Jewish community. The East Jerusalem, which has been recognized as the part of the Palestinians, although they do not control it. And this whole kidney bean was called West Bank. यहाँ पर भी there are Palestinians. The Palestinians which are present in the Gaza, they are more radical. They are more violent. They do not want talks. They want the status quo of the 1900s. ये two-state solution में believe नहीं करते. They do not believe that the Israelis and the Palestinians can live together. They think that Israelis should be ousted from their own territory, which was earlier their territories during the 1900s. जब Jews इजराइल में कभी आए ही नहीं थे. So they are the more violent ones, and these are being recognized as Hamas. They are the टेररिस्ट फैक्शन. रिसेंटली जो वॉर हुआ है उस वॉर में इन्हीं हमास ने रॉकेट and these are being defended by what? Iron Dome, which is a missile defense weapon of the Israelis. I'll tell you what is Iron Dome and where does India come in. India comes in the talks of Iron Domes as well. गाजा. उसके बाद मैंने क्लियरली बोला कि जो वेस्ट बैंक के लोग थे, द पीपल ऑफ वेस्ट बैंक, they are more peace loving people. They use parliamentarian means. They are non-violent. They believe in two-state solution. Their main political organization is PLO, that is Palestinian Liberation Organization, and their mukhya or their guru is Mohammed Abbas. He loves to come to India, you see. Whenever he is sad, he comes to India. ताजमहल देखने आ जाते हैं जब दुखी होते हैं वहां पर PLO के चीफ and their faction Fatahs. So these are the Hamas and these are the Fatahs. Fatahs are in the parliamentary, in the non-violent bank. Hamas are in the violent bank. They are in the West Bank. They are in the Gaza Strip. 1967 के ही जो ये वॉर की मैंने बात करी थी, द सेकेंड अरब पैलेस्टीनियन वॉर, इन्होंने सीरिया से भी एक टेरिटरी ले ली थी इजराइल ने, दैट इज योर गोलान हाइट्स. So since then till now there have been many wars as well, small and big. Yom Kippur war हुआ, 1980s का क्राइसिस हुआ, 1993 का क्राइसिस हुआ. 1993 में फाइनली there were Oslo Accords, where it was decided the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, they decided that yes, we recognize Israel, we recognize that there should be a two-state solution, and there would be a division of Jerusalem into West Jerusalem that will go to Israel, the East Jerusalem that will go to Palestine. प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रही है? इजराइल को भी ये बातें अलाउड थी, इजराइल को ये बातें मंजूर थी, बट व्हाट इज द मेन इशू? द मेन इशू इज the presence of two power centers. One is Gaza and one is the West. So Gaza, West Bank. So Gaza says we do not recognize the Oslo Accords. They say we will not take anything short of complete independence. We will not take anything short of our own motherland, that is the Palestinian territory. हम इजराइल को एक सुई जितनी नोक जितनी जगह भी नहीं देंगे. They had a stance दुर्योधन वाला in Mahabharata, right? Rashmirati. So what is the dynamics? Now everything has a spillover effect in the region. अगर कश्मीर में कुछ हो रहा है, the spillover effects will be in Afghanistan, China, Pakistan, Nepal, everywhere. In India, obviously. Similarly, if something is happening here, the spillover effects would be here. So Israel supported by US, Palestine supported by the Arab world, but the Arab world itself divided into Iran as well as Saudi Arabia. They are not able to cater the needs of the PLO as well as the Gaza people. They are not able to, bring about any solution. The talks are not bringing about any solution. There is the third partner here, that is the outsiders, that is the West as well as the Russia and China. So West in favor of Israel, they support Israel in the UN as well, except for some few European countries which talk about the human rights. But China and Russia, who would they be supporting? They are the supporters of Iran, and Iran is directly supplying weapons to the Hamas in the Gaza Strip. It is also supplying weapons to the Lebanese Hezbollah, which is yet another terrorist organization which is anti-Israel. ये भी इजराइल के खिलाफ हैं या ज्यूज के खिलाफ हैं. इजराइल के जो चीफ हैं, that is, you see, he is a radical man. So what does he say? He says that, Israel says that we are ready to deal with the peaceful PLO. However, when the Hamas come into play, then we would give fire for fire. An eye for an eye would render the whole world blind. तो ये सारा यहाँ का डायनामिक्स है. Fortunately, India has had a very cautious, a balanced, a multi-pronged, a nuanced, a limited approach with respect to the Israel-Palestinian conflict and its policy in the Middle East. I'll tell you कि इंडिया की अप्रोच यहाँ पर कहाँ है. See, UPSC will not ask you who are the Hamas or what is the Gaza Strip or where is the Gaza. No, it will not ask you all these things. It matters to the UPSC that where does your country come into play. कि आपका देश इजराइल के साथ क्या कर रहा है, आपका देश पैलेस्टीन के साथ क्या कर रहा है, आपका देश ईरान के साथ क्या कर रहा है और आपका देश सऊदी अरेबिया के साथ क्या कर रहा है. Your country as a whole in the West Asian region or the Middle Eastern region, what is your country as a whole doing with respect to these particular regions or particular countries? This should be our main focus. See, India's policy. The latest statement which Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs in the United Nations given by India's representative, जब आप लोग IFS बनेंगे, Indian Foreign Services, तो आप लोगों को भी ये पोस्ट मिलेगा, and you would be the representatives of India, you would be the ambassadors. Your statement would reflect the whole statement of your country, your stance, जो तुम्हारे देश का statement है. So first of all, India supports a two-state solution. India has never said that we want a Jewish homeland or we support a Palestinian or Arabic homeland. India says that there has to be a two-state solution. Second, India condemns, you can always note down these, jot down these points. India condemns violence. India does not give reference कि violence किसने किया, इजराइल ने किया या पैलेस्टीन ने किया. India does condemn the violence. Peace and talks should be the way forward. Respect pacts and treaties. जो ओस्लो अकॉर्ड्स हुए या जो भी वॉर्स के बाद जो पैक्ट्स हुए, you have to accept them, both the parties. India stands with human rights. However, I will also demarcate where are the changes or where are the Hippocratic stands. You will not write hypocrisy, but there are some differences in these stands, or there is a perceived shift towards Israel. There are some thinkers who say this. There are some political analysts who would say this, that there is a perceived shift in India's stand with respect to Israel. So, multi-pronged, cautious, limited, balanced, nuanced approach. This could be summed up as India's or carefully calibrated. We have a carefully calibrated, balanced, nuanced, limited approach towards the Arab-Israel conflict or the Israel-Palestinian conflict. This has also been seen. This has also been seen in the region as a whole, in the whole West Asia, in the whole of Western Asian politics. India has had a very good, a wonderful relationship with all the three power centers. See, Israel, Iran, Dushman. Iran, Saudi Arabia, they are enemies, they are Dushman. Saudi Arabia, Israel, they are Dushman. So there is a triple threat match going on. But India has, it is the most successful foreign policy domain of India, that India has been able to appease all the three enemies. वैसे तो दुश्मन का दुश्मन is your दोस्त. So technically one of these should be your enemies. One of these should not be supporting you. But India has carefully maneuvered through these choppy waters of West Asia. India has had wonderful relations with Iran, Saudi as well as Israel in the past. तो ये हमारा सक्सेस है हमारी फॉरेन पॉलिसी का. Now you would ask me, sir, why does India support Israel and why does India support Palestine? And how does India support Israel and how does India support Palestine? Is India biased or is India tilted or is India shifted towards any of these nations? Yes, there is a perceived shift with respect to India's Israel-Palestine policy. India supports Israel, or I would say the balance in favor of Israel. It comes due to the fact that India needs Israel's cooperation in agriculture, the artificial intelligence, the technological advances with respect to Make in India, because Israel has a wonderful manufacturing, with respect to renewable energy, and the traditional hydrocarbons also, but more in renewable energy. Then India also has a very, very important relationship, the modernization of our defense forces. This is the most important part. Till 1993 or even till 2014, before Mr. Modi came into picture, PM Modi, usse pehle we had this relationship under the carpet because we were not to trouble the Arab world, the Arabic countries, चाहे वो ईरान हो, चाहे इराक हो, चाहे वो सऊदी अरेबिया हो, चाहे वो कतर हो, चाहे यूएई हो. In totality, the Gulf Cooperation Council as well as the Organization of Islamic Countries, because we also want these people. यहाँ पर तो ठीक है, we all need Israel for all these purposes, but Russia had been supplying us and USA has been supplying us. Even the Rafale have been, adopted from France. So ये काम हमारा चल जाएगा, but ये काम हमारा क्यों नहीं चल रहा था? Why is the Middle Eastern or the Arab world important for India? Very, very important. पहला, oil. If you do not have the Arab world, आपके एक्टिवा में पेट्रोल भी नहीं डलेगा. The 90% of your energy needs, or let us say 80% of your hydrocarbon need or your crude oil need, actually came from the Arab world. It came from Iran, Iraq, it came from Saudi Arabia, it even comes from Kuwait, Qatar, many, many places, right? So refining that oil, the technology transfer. Secondly, India has a lot of diaspora in the Middle East. What is diaspora? Your relatives which are living there in the Middle East. And that diaspora is essential for one prime condition. एक तो इंडिया की, it increases India's soft power in the world. What is soft power? Soft power is the power of attraction. Hard power is the military power or the economic power. America has ruled the world with both soft as well as hard power. Hard power, we know that America can bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It can destroy any country of the world within seconds. 3 या 4 seconds में अमेरिका किसी भी देश को destroy कर सकता है. That is one thing, that is an established fact. But what is America's soft power? Why are the countries attracted to Americans? Let us say Windows, let us say Microsoft, let us say Google, let us say the MacBook or the Apple. That is the tech part, technology part. This attracts America a lot, the Silicon Valley and all that. Google account, Gmail account. That is all America. दूसरा चीज, what about your denim jeans? वहां पर ये क्या था? This was a rugged wear. Denim jeans was a rugged wear for the industrial men. The blue trousers, the blue people, right? जो industrial workers थे. Because jeans is a rugged thing. और हमें क्यों पसंद आ गई? You see, we love jeans. First of all, we'll buy a full jeans. नीचे से घिस जाएगी, we'll cut it into the pants. उसके बाद भी we will not throw it. We will make a rag out of it. And even after the rag has been exhausted, we will use it as a packing. कुछ चीज हिल रहा होगा, टेबल हिल रहा होगा, उसके नीचे फंसा देंगे. You see, Indians love all these rugged things, old things. We do not throw away the old negative energy from our houses. So jeans, denim is yet another American soft power. Windows is yet another American soft power. What about the fast food? Fast food जो बहुत जल्दी में बन जाता है. Fast food is the food which is prepared fast. Actually, the S has been replaced. Galti se, it is the fat food. The McDonald's, the KFC, the chicken wings, all those things. Burger, tikki, and all that. You know, MacBook and all that. McDonald's. Again, America's soft power. What is India's soft power? How does India attract people? Our culture, our festivals. हमारी लठमार होली जो है, वृंदावन की ब्रिज की होली, you know, that contains a lot of foreigners. मथुरा वृंदावन में हर होली पर a lot of Rajasthan, our cultural heritage, प्रधारो हमारे देश. What about the Himalayan tribals, our geography, our tourism? What about our health diplomacy? Yes, our cheap generic medicines that also attracts the foreigners. मेदांता में, गुड़गांव का मेदांता, India's largest hospital, जहां रोज 50 bypass surgeries हो रही हैं. What is the speciality about it? It has a separate zone for Africa as well as the Middle Eastern people, Iranian people. बहुत सारे लोग वहां पर bypass surgeries करवाने आ रहे हैं. So health tourism is also an attraction. The Ved Granth, जिनके यश गाएं, केवट उनको नाम चढ़ाए. Yes, the old chants, the Buddhist chants, you know, the spiritualism of India, the yoga. India's yogic breathing exercises, the Namaste, which has been popularized in the times of COVID, all that attracts the people into Indian society, Indian domain. That is India's soft power. Samosa, you know, British separately has a samosa festival. Indian cuisines are Indian attractors. So soft power. The diaspora spreads our soft power that we are a part of. Incredible. India उसके साथ साथ diaspora हमें और क्या देता है? Remittances. That is the dollars. We are the highest remittances owing, you know, bringing in incoming remittance country of India, country of the world. सबसे ज़्यादा remittances हमारे देश में आ रहे हैं. $70 to $80 billion per year. That adds to our forex reserves of $400 to $500 billion, and that is a huge help. Obviously, forex reserves can be boosted by many things. External trade, you will get dollars. When MACD invests in an outlet, you will get dollars. When Hyundai invests in UP and makes a plant, a car making plant, Hyundai Santro वाला जो i10 वाला plant जब इंडिया में बन रहा है, investment also brings in dollars. foreign direct investment, that is for long term, and foreign institutional investors, portfolio investors, they bring in hot money, again dollars, forex reserves, remittances. You cannot figure them out. सबसे ज्यादा डायस्पोरा है हमारे यहाँ पर. The third thing which is important with respect to our Arabic world is the domestic politics. Let us go back to Gandhi. Let us go back to the undivided India. Let us go back to the Indian National Congress and the politics of Muslim League. Let us go back to the British policy of divide and rule. Let us go back to the World War I. Let us go back to the division of the Ottoman Empire, which was considered as the most religious place, the Khalifa which was established, that was the religious spiritual guru of the Arab world throughout. और हमारे मुसलमानों ने इंडिया में क्या कर दिया था, उसके खिलाफ विरोध कर दिया था. और गांधी जी ने इंडिया को हिंदू मुस्लिम लाइंस पर यूनाइट करने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा तरीका सोचा कि हम खिलाफत मूवमेंट को स्वराज मूवमेंट में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं. आई विल कोलैबोरेट द खिलाफत एंड द स्वराज इशू, दैट वी वांट द रिवर्सल ऑफ द टेरिटरीज ऑफ टर्की. हमें टर्की के अरब्स के साथ या मुसलमानों के साथ जो नाइंसाफियां हुई हैं, हमें उसका रिवर्सल चाहिए. This was one of the main agendas of Gandhi's non-cooperation movement as well. Besides getting independence for India, India sitting in India, Indians sitting in India are more concerned about the Muslims which are in Palestine or which are in the Arab world. We cannot take panga with the Arabic world. We cannot displease the Arab world or the Palestinians at the cost of our relationship with Israel and vice versa. हमें यहां पर भी रिश्ता चाहिए, यहां पर भी हमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रिश्ता चाहिए. Domestic politics, obviously the Muslim card, or I would not say the Muslim card, I would say the communal politics plays an important role in our domestic politics. This is why we are trying to appease the Indian Muslims as well. It has been used. आप लिख सकते हैं that, see, don't mention a particular religion. For me, all my students, be it a Hindu, a Jain, a Sikh, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, all of you are equal for us. For us as an institution, you are all equal. We do not discriminate. But yes, there have been politics around the caste, the religion, the region, the language, and that is the work of politics. आवाम जो है वो शांति ही चाहती है, and we have never thought that we are teaching a Muslim, or even I could be a Muslim or I could be a Christian. So we all go by the merit of the person. So domestic politics, absolutely. The fourth most important thing, connectivity. Energy, connectivity. You see, if you have the world map in front of you, when I go from Gujarat, when I send a container outside Gujarat that goes through the Gulf, it encounters the boundaries of Pakistan, then it counters the boundaries of Iraq. Wahan par there is an important port called the Chabar port. Chabar port is the part of the INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor. So Chabar port क्या करता है? हमें कनेक्ट करता है कहां से? मिडल ईस्ट से, यूरोप से, the Central Asian countries of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and then Azerbaijan, Caspian Sea, Iran से ऊपर बिल्कुल Caspian Sea, Azerbaijan, Baku, and then Russia, and then we enter into the East, Europe. So connectivity, the sea part, very, 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 very important with respect to India's relationship with the Middle Eastern nations. Very, very, very important. You can Google what is INSTC, Indian International North-South Transport Corridor. आप इसको गूगल करें, इसके बारे में पढ़ें. पोटेंशियल क्वेश्चन है, यूपीएससी का प्रीलिम्स में आ चुका है, मेंस में भी आ सकता है, वरना यू कैन ऑलवेज मेंशन दैट पार्ट इन योर पैलेस्टीनियन और अरब वर्ल्ड. इंडियाज importance, so importance of Palestine is not just Palestine, it is also the Arabic world which we need to appease. That is why ये सारा जो है हमारा, जो सारे के सारे हमारे प्रेरोगेटिव्स हैं, हमारी प्रायोरिटीज हैं, that is why we have not been able to condemn the violence by Palestine, and we have not been able to support Israel throughout, out and out. Israel is important for all these things, Palestine important for all these things. Now, is there a shift? I have told you that India has a balanced policy. India has a multi-pronged policy. India has a calibrated policy. But is there a shift? Is there a shift with respect to India's Arab-Palestine policy? Sorry, Israel-Palestine policy? Is there a perceived shift post 2017? So look for signs of shift, signs of departure. See here, India supports a two-state solution. India supports that the West Jerusalem will belong to Israel and the East Jerusalem will belong to Palestine. Earlier in the joint statements, India used to mention that Palestine को East Jerusalem मिलना चाहिए. But now, since 2017, there is the absence of reference to East Jerusalem. And this is a negative against Palestine. ये पैलेस्टीन के फेवर में नहीं जाता, ये इजराइल के फेवर में जाता है. टू स्टेट सॉल्यूशन तो बोल दिया, बट ये बोला कि इजराइल जो है वो, सॉरी, ईस्ट जेरूसलम जो है वो हमने रेफर नहीं किया कहीं भी स्टेटमेंट में. देन एट द यूएनएससी एंड यूएनएचआरसी, India has never openly condemned the human rights violations. This also stands in the favor of Israel. ये भी इजराइल के फेवर में कुछ पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट बोलते हैं कि है. See, there are, you see, obviously Palestinians are tribal people. ठीक है, they all stand for their rights. They want to worship in the Al-Aqsa Mosque. How can you know, घर से उनको बाहर कैसे निकाल सकते हैं? And why is Israel changing the demography of the West Bank? See, there is a very strategic move that what Israel has been doing, what China has been doing in Tibet. China is sending the Huns or the traditional Chinese into the Tibetan region. Why? To change the demography. Similarly, Israel has been making its own establishments in the so-called Palestinian territories. It has been sending Israelis and making their houses where? In the Palestinian areas of West Bank. Gaza में नहीं, Gaza में तो terrorist है, मारेंगे उनको. Gaza is a landlocked state or city. But I am talking about the West Bank, Jerusalem के आसपास, Sharm Sharif and all that, जो Ramallah and everything, जहाँ पर PLO के quarters हैं. They are changing the demography. Why? कल को अगर वहां पर plebiscite होता है, if tomorrow there is a popular vote, Israel will say, okay, we are not concerned, let's ask the people. Then who will vote in favor of Israel? The Palestinians will not vote in favor of Israel. It is the Israelis which have their own ration card or Aadhaar card living in Palestinian territories. They will vote in favor of Israel, and the Palestinians living there automatically, which are now less in number because Israel has sent its own Jews there, so they will be less in number, so they will be voting in favor of Palestine. And ultimately, who will be the majority there as well? It will be the Israeli Jewish majority, even if there is an independent autonomous vote, garnered or centered by the or brokered by the West or the UN or any other third party country. समझ में आ रहा है? तो ये चीज भी है. India does not condemn their human rights. Then India does not condemn Israel for its warfare. Israel को उसके, I'll write a little further. मेरे पास जगह थोड़ी सी कम है. These are the circumstances. Had it not been COVID, we would have enjoyed a big smart board. But anyway, The content matters more than my presentation, so does not condemn the Israeli attacks on Gaza, but it does condemn the Gaza attacks or the Gaza rocket violence. It has started condemning the violence of Gaza. The rocket fire by Gaza or by the Hamas. इंडिया ने एक और चीज कहना स्टार्ट कर दिया है जो पैलेस्टीन को बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. India, in its joint statements with Israel, said that just as India is a victim of terrorism, similarly, Israel is also a victim of terrorism. So these are the probable signs of departure. So you could be asked all these questions. That why is India interested in West Asia? I already told you so many points. What are the successes of India? India is a friend with Iran. India is a friend with Saudi. India is a friend with Palestine. India is a friend with Israel. बहुत शातिर है हिंदुस्तान की foreign policy वहां पर. You could say that it is very smart. But India has also maintained a balance. India has maintained a limited approach. India has not crossed boundaries. India is not interfering in the defense forces. दिल तो हमारा भी कर रहा था बहती गंगा में हाथ धो लो एक आधा बम गिरा दो, but no, we are not doing that. India wants peace. India does not want violence. India wants that all the previous pacts should be, respected by the parties, respected parties, and the world peace should be maintained. Because अगर इस region में कोई भी volatility होगी तो हमारा ये energy needs जो है, हमारे repatriates जो है, you see, do you remember a picture called Airlift, Akshay Kumar ki? In that he airlifted most of the people from Kuwait. Why? Because there was violence in the region. So if there is violence in the region as a whole, India's diaspora will come in India, and India will have an additional burden of their employment, their health. हम तो जो यहाँ रह रहे हैं उन्हीं को नहीं दे पा रहे basic facilities. So, and if you are asked what is India's stand, this is obviously India's traditional stand. Has there been a sign of departure? Yes, sir. According to some political analysts, these are the symbolic signs of departure. So yes, there is a lot of symbolism. I hope I have done justice to this topic, and I hope each and every one of you can write at least 250 words, because इससे ज़्यादा question नहीं पूछा जाएगा. So 250 words on this topic if it comes in your GS2 international relations. This topic is also important for my people of political science and IR. All science वाले बच्चों के लिए भी basics will remain the same. The only thing I would add is some political terms like realism, idealism, liberal fundamentalism, extremism. I would add some terminologies there, some ideologies there, and I would also quote your political thinkers. You will be given the handouts and all, do not worry. ये आपको सब जब सब्जेक्ट पढ़ेंगे, this will also be repeated in the GS2. GS2 में भी रिपीट होगा, और अगर आपको ऑप्शनल पॉलिटिकल साइंस है तो उसमें भी रिपीट होगा बखूबी. In world history, you will also be told about the background since 1917 and उससे पहले. First Arab-Israel war and the second Arab-Israel war or the 6-day war, and every crisis would be repeated. But this is of more prominent use because this is more geopolitically in use.